Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery, and visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. This will be the second video in the edge retention tips series. The first one I went over, me, that I'm a knife maker, that, I'm an outdoorsman. I do a lot of handyman and rehabbing type stuff. In addition to heat my shop with a wood stove, so, I'm spending an awful lot of time cutting trees down, with chainsaws, splitting, using an axe. I mean, just an awful lot of time spent using an edge. And so this series of videos is going to be kind of some tips on edge retention that I've found. So the first video was expectations of edge retention. How using your knife, properly in different ways, how you can take the same knife with the same edge and go through one deer, or you can use the same knife and the same edge and go through a dozen deer. It just kind of depends on how you use your knife. Just some broad techniques there. This one's going to be on corrosion. Corrosion and its effect on a knife edge. The biggest example that I can remember about corrosion on knife edges has to do with straight razors. You guys know I make straight razors. I shave with straight razors. Straight razors are my favorite type of razor to shave with, unless I'm traveling. Anyways, when I was first getting started in straight razors, it was, it was kind of a lot. I knew how to sharpen knives and stuff, but not, straight razors. And so I was having to learn how to sharpen straight razors, learn how to shave with a straight razor, and learn how to make a straight razor all at the same time. And that's kind of a big package. That's kind of like learning how to start a fire, learning how to cook, and learning how to start a fire with flint and steel instead of a match, all at the same time. So it was quite a bit. So anyway, I ended up going to a straight razor maker's meet down at Charlie's place down in Texas. It was a pretty awesome experience. There was probably a dozen of us down there, and we spent 3 or 4 days, I think, making straight razors, BSing about straight razors, talking about honing and stropping and all kind of stuff. Well, there was a fella down there, his name's Ron. Ron, I believe, is a brain surgeon. So he actually, he's pretty, as far as intelligence goes, he's way up there. He had a microscope there. It was a Zeiss, which, if you guys know, Zeiss is pretty high dollar glass, right? And it was a stereoscope, kind of like mine, right? Only it was way higher dollar than that. And it was his old one. I guess that's what he used, in his business. So his old one, when he got a new one, he retired the old one to his shop to learn about straight razors. At the time, I was shaving with one of my straight razors in 440C stainless that I had made, and I was having some kind of mixed results with it. One of the things that I had read on the forums was that you shave with a straight razor, and then instead of stropping it immediately, you just set it off to the side, let it air dry, and then let the edge relax before you stropped it before your next shave. Okay, kind of sort of makes a little bit of sense. So that's what I was doing. Well, I told Ron about the problems I was having with this razor, how, I'd put a fresh edge on it, it'd feel really good, shave with it, and then set it off to the side, and then 2 days later I'd pick it up, strop it, and then shave with it, and it felt really, really scratchy. And I could feel that scratchiness in the palm of my hand when I was palm stropping. And he says, well, let's throw it up underneath the microscope and take a look. Now, I had one of those little bitty chintzy USB microscopes that say that they're, a gazillion power, they plug into your laptop and it blows up on the screen, right? And underneath that scope, that edge was perfect. Nothing was wrong with it. The second I throw it up underneath his scope, man, there are pits the size of they're huge pits. The dang edge looked like the moon. There's craters in it all over the place. And I said, what's going on here? And he says, well, 2 things. He says, one, the resolution in that little bitty USB microscope is awful. He said the pixel doohickeys were too big to see what you were seeing, and so it would take the pixel and like gloss over what you were looking at. I don't know. He said it didn't have enough pixels, and it was digital magnification and not glass magnification. I could understand that. He said the second thing is that even though that blade is stainless steel, you not drying it off after you're shaving with it, that's how much corrosion you're getting. Now, it was completely fine to the naked eye. It was completely fine underneath that digital microscope. But man, the second I put it up underneath his scope, there was pits in that edge all over the place. That happens whether it's stainless or high carbon. Stainless will resist that to a point. High carbon steel does it too. So if you're having a problem with edge retention, make dang sure that you're getting your edge dry in between uses. Okay, not only in between uses, but also if you're outside sweating an awful lot, or if you live in a very humid environment and that pocket knife stays in your pocket all the time, and you find yourself sweating through your jeans, then that knife is going to be picking up that sweat. Okay, so what'll happen is that you'll start off with a fresh edge, put it in your pocket, sweat through your jeans, and then that night, you know, you take your pants off, you put your pocket knife on the nightstand. Next morning, you pick it up, you put it back in. Well, you do that over 3 or 4 days, and that edge is going to be just marked full of rust or corrosion on it because of that sweat, which is basically salt water, right? So make sure that you try to keep your edge nice and clean. So a lot of times when anytime I use a knife, when I'm done with it, pretty much I always strop it on my jeans when I'm done. So like if I'm opening up a bag of dog food, it doesn't matter. Dog food's dry. It's not going to have any moisture in there. Punch through, cut open the bag of dog food, and then, I'll strop that blade on my jeans, before I put it in my pocket. Okay. What that does is it cleans the edge off, but more importantly, it dries it off. Okay. The same thing can happen in your kitchen. All right. A lot of times I've seen people that had magnetic stripes or strips that they put their knife up on that was over the sink or very close to the stove. Okay, over the sink you've got that steam coming up from when you're doing dishes. Over the stove you got that steam coming up from when you're cooking. All that moisture collecting on that edge and not getting dried off is not such a good thing. I store mine in a knife block, just a regular old wood block. And I put it in the corner, so the sink's here and the stove is here, and that knife block is back in the corner. That keeps those kitchen knife edges away from any moisture that might collect. Then, once I use the knife, use it, hand wash it, hand towel it, and then stick it back in that knife block, and then it's protected for the next time. Yeah, I think that's about it for corrosion. So, basically keep your edge dry, especially if you're in a really sweaty environment or a really humid environment like a kitchen or something like that. Even stainless steel, you might not be able to see it with your naked eye, and when you start thinking about an edge, okay, and the definition of an edge is this plane and this plane meeting together at, a precise point, okay? The second you start getting any kind of corrosion on that edge, it don't take much at all before it starts degrading that edge, big time. All right, so yeah, keep your blade clean and dry and away from moisture so you don't get corrosion on your edge. So again, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.